and welcome back to another episode of Read with me, Mr. D. I'm your host, Mr. D, but you can call me Mr. D. I got another great book for you today, but before we get into it, I would like to dedicate today's episode to the great state of Washington. Not to be confused with Washington, D.C. When you say the state of Washington, sometimes people will say, is it D.C. or Washington State? Today we're talking about Washington State. Washington is one of the most northern states in the continental U.S. and is one of only 12 states that touch our neighbor to the north, Canada. They got some good poutine up there, eh? Seattle is Washington's largest city and is home to the first ever Starbucks. Seattle's also where I live and is where I'm recording this right now. Washington is home to many native tribes, and you'll notice that many of the cities in Washington are named after them, such as Snoqualmie, Puyallup, and Spokane. Washington is part of a cluster of states known as the Pacific Northwest, or PNW for short, and is home to some amazing sea animals such as the Great Pacific Octopus, harbor seals, and my favorite, orcas. The resident orca whales are a specific group of whales that feed exclusively on Chinook salmon. These whales are actually having a tough time right now, though, due to low numbers of salmon, overfishing, and pollution. So, what can we do to help the whales? Well, here are 3 things you can do to help. 1, careful cleanup. Take steps in your home to reduce the number of chemicals entering our water. Consider switching to natural cleaning products and only buy products that do not have microplastics. Number 2, choose new fish. When choosing your next meal, try to stay away from Chinook salmon and leave those to the resident orcas. Go for a different species of salmon or just go for a different type of fish altogether. Number 3, reduce your plastic. Try using reusable items such as reusable grocery bags, glass or metal water bottles, and mesh produce bags when you go to the grocery store. For more information on that, you can go to visitsanjuans.com. That's the San Juan Islands Visitor Bureau. I absolutely love whales, and one of my favorite things about living here in Washington is the fact that sometimes I can look out my window and see them. One time I was looking out my window and I saw a gray whale and her baby. That was impressive. Thank you, Washington. Before we get into our book today, I have 3 lucky classrooms from Washington that I dedicate this episode to. A big hello to Mr. Schott's library class at Newberry Elementary in Wenatchee, Washington. Mrs. Crow's 4th grade, did I say it right? Was it Crow's? K-R-O-U-S. Mrs. Carew's 4th grade class at Adams Elementary in Yakima, Washington. And Mrs. Elmer's kindergarten class at Davis Elementary in Walla Walla, Washington. That one's fun to say, isn't it? Walla Walla, Washington. Walla Walla, Washington. The book I chose for you today is yet another one of my favorites. It's Memoirs of a Hamster by Devin, Scillian, and illustration by Tim Bowers. Let's get into it, shall we?
Night 1. My life is perfect. I have a bowl full of seeds, a cozy pile of wood shavings, and room to run. I'm never leaving here. Question, who's the luckiest hamster in the world? Answer, me. Night 2. I was just telling myself, Seymour, you got it made when my exercise wheel arrived. I like to work out. It's the best model around. It's the Fuzzy Boy 360. Shiny as a new dime and fast as lightning. I don't know how many miles I put in, but I was on that wheel all night. Night 3. It took me a while to get the hang of my new water bottle, but it's great. It's important too. A hamster has to stay hydrated. Back to my wheel. I've got another hour to put in before daylight. Night 4. Little girl came by and gave me a kiss on the nose. Nasty! Hello? Ever heard of germs? But she also gave me 2 yogurt drops. Question, what's better than yogurt drops? Answer, 2 yogurt drops! I ate one and tucked the other under my cheek to save for later. This hamster has it going on. Night 5. I was just climbing into my wheel tonight while Pearl, the cat, came by.
You know,
She said,
you run for miles every night, but you never leave the cave. What's it all for?
I don't know, I said. It's what hamsters do.
What a complete waste of time. Have fun in your cage. I'm going to the sunroom.
Sunroom? What's a sunroom? Night 6. Little girl woke me up to clean my cage today. She kissed me on the nose again. Barf! She needs to knock that off. But while she was carrying me around, I realized that there's a lot of house around me that I haven't seen. It seems to go on forever. I tried just as hard, but I couldn't see a sunroom. Little girl gave me a yogurt drop, and I completely forgot about the sunroom. Whatever a sunroom is it better than a yogurt drop? Answer, no. Night 7. I planned on running a marathon tonight, but my Fuzzy Boy 360 is a little squeaky. Pearl came over to my cage looking a little annoyed.
You really need to get yourself out of there.
She said, but why? I asked. I've got a wheel, I've got my seeds, I've got yogurt drops.
You wouldn't need a wheel out here.
She said,
There's plenty of room to run. The staircase is made of sunflower seeds, and the sunroom is filled with yogurt drops.
as she was walking away, she turned around and said,
Watch out for Hoover.
Hoover? Who's Hoover?
Quick pause. You have 5 seconds to turn and talk to somebody by you and tell them what your prediction is of what's gonna happen next. What's a prediction? A prediction is what you think is gonna happen. You have 5 seconds. Go! Okay, that's enough. Back to the story.
Night 8. I didn't sleep a wink. Little girl came by and kissed me on the nose. Yuck! And then I had a terrible workout. I just couldn't focus. How can I concentrate knowing what I know? Imagine a whole staircase of sunflower seeds in the sunroom. Don't I deserve to be in the sunroom? Buck the dog came by to give my cage a sniff, and I said, Buck, do you like the sunroom? Big, goofy Buck said,
I love this sunroom. It's so sunny.
and he trotted away. Night 9. No workout tonight. I spent the whole evening putting together a plan. I went over every square inch of my cage, and I think I got it figured out. Operation Tasty Treat is set for tomorrow night. Hello, staircase. Hello, sunroom. Night 10. Good old Seymour is one smart hamster. My escape went like clockwork. I moved the seed dish, then I was able to muscle the fuzzy boy to the front of the cage. I had a little trouble climbing the outside of the wheel. It kept spinning and I wasn't going anywhere. But sweet Pearl suggested that I jam a sunflower seed at the side of the wheel, and it worked. After that, it was easy. I shimmied up the wheel and popped the lid right off. Question, who's going to eat every yogurt drop in the sunroom? Answer, me. Night 11. Note to self, cats are big, fat liars. I'm writing this from under the sofa. One wrong move and Pearl will have me for dinner. For starters, the staircase is not made of sunflower seeds. It's just carpet. It tastes like sweater. And the sunroom it's nice, but there wasn't a yogurt drop in sight. And when I heard Pearl, the big fat liar, say,
Hello, Seymour.
I knew that something was going on. She looked really hungry, but all of that time on the wheel paid off. I raced past her and squeezed out of the sunroom just in time. I made it here, but now what? Pearl keeps clawing under the sofa, that big fat liar. I'll probably never see my cage again. Question, who's in trouble? Answer, me. Night 12. I'm doomed. I'll never make it back here alive. I can see Pearl pacing back and forth. She says she's looking up recipes. I tore a tag off the bottom of the sofa. I found an old pencil and I wrote out my will. I, Seymour Q. Hamster, being of
tired mind and hungry body, leave my fuzzy boy 360 to my 17 brothers. I leave my water bottle to my 22 sisters and to my sweet mother and father. I leave the 4 yogurt drops hidden in the corner of my cage. I won't be needing them. I sniffled a few times and fell asleep. Goodbye, friends. I love you all. Night 13. So hungry and tired that I could barely move. I heard Pearl purring the way that she does when she sleeps. It was my only chance. I tiptoed out from the back of the sofa and headed straight for my cage. I was going to make it, but suddenly there was a terrible noise. It sounded like a hurricane. An enormous monster was coming right at me. I looked up at its terrible eyes and read the most frightening word, Hoover. It was trying to suck me inside. But heard the commotion and started barking like crazy. That woke up Pearl, the big, fat liar who hissed at me, "He's mine," and started racing right towards me. Hoover had me by the tail. Pearl was swiping at me with her claws, and Buck was howling like a madman. I was a goner. I closed my eyes and waited for it all to be over. And then came the sweetest thing I'd ever heard. Seymour. It was suddenly very quiet. Hoover, Pearl, and Buck stopped in their tracks, and one surprised but happy little girl got to me first. She kissed me on the nose. A lovely, beautiful, sweet kiss. And I kissed her right back, twice. Night 14. My life is perfect. I have a bowl full of seeds, a cozy pile of wood shavings, and room to run. I'm never leaving here. Question: who's the luckiest hamster in the world? Answer: me. I love that book. It teaches us a great lesson. Have you ever heard the saying, the grass isn't always greener on the other side? That means you might want to go somewhere else, do somewhere else, or live a different life, but you don't know what's over there. It might not be as great as you think. Thanks for watching. I cannot wait to make another one, and we will see you next time on another episode of Read with me, Mr. D. Have a great week. Bye, guys.